I want to talk about a few coping tools that can help you manage and even reverse the patterns of thinking. So number one, what you need to do, you need to understand your thinking patterns. So how do you do that? You start off by writing your thinking patterns down. There is actually in that book, Mind Over Mood, and I don't the writer of the book, I believe, is Dr. Burns. I may be wrong, but he's on Amazon. But one of the things that he says is that you need to have a record of the thoughts that you are thinking on a daily basis. The moment you feel that your mood has changed, take a moment and write down what was the event. That is what we call the trigger. What was the event? And then column number 2, you write, what did I think about the event? And then column number 3, what did I feel after I thought about the event? Up to that point, we call that automatic thinking, because you're not going to be able to change anything there. It's automatic. So something happens, you are triggered, you think a certain way, and then you feel a certain way. Up to that point, you cannot change that. But then moving forward, because what happens once you begin to feel, there are more negative thoughts that come to your mind. And those more negative thoughts, they create more negative, or they trigger more negative emotions, and then over time you're going to behave. Now, how are you going to behave? You're either going to fight or you are going to run. And so at that point, we are saying that you always don't have to run, neither do you have to fight, but you do need to do a third thing, which is to manage. At that point, you stop, and you need to do some deep breathing, and you need to identify again, what is it that I am thinking, and what is it that I am feeling, and why? You know, why is it that this thing is making me feel so deeply about myself, or about the people around me, or about the situation here? Once you do that, the next column is you begin to ask yourself, what is my belief? I am thinking this way because there is an underlying belief. Now remember the 4 things I talked about. The feelings of safety, the feelings of control, the feelings that I am lovable, and the feelings that I am competent. The belief there is what is going to feed the thoughts, the negative thoughts that you are feeling. And so if you do not take care of the progression of the thinking, then you end up where you don't want to end up, where you are behaving in certain ways that hurt you or hurt others. So now, once you identify the belief, then you identify an alternative way of thinking. How can I think in a different way? What are the other explanations other than I'm not good enough, they didn't like me, everybody hates me? Other than that, what are other explanations that there could be about the situation? Once you do that, you find that you begin to be less agitated, less upset, less sad, or even less feeling helpless. You begin to think, oh, you know what? I can do something different. Now, so that is number 1. Keep a record of your negative thinking. And how do you know when to record? It's when your mood changes. You can be able to feel a mood change faster than you can be able to identify the thought. So once you feel the mood has changed, then you begin the process of recording what happened with who, what was my belief about that, and then what are alternatives, ways of explaining the situation, and then you change the way that you are going to behave or what you are going to do. Now, the next step that you can take here, and which is very, very important, is learn to take care of your mental health. So self-care is very important. How much do you meditate to just lessen the tension in your mind? How much do you journal? I'm talking now about stress management strategies. How much do you go for a walk? Breathe in fresh air. Some of us, we need to do deep breathing a lot because we are triggered so much and we are always on edge. Go and do some relaxation. Go and do some swimming. Go and do some stretching. Get on a program where where you are being trained on how to self-soothe yourself, how to use meditation, how to use relaxation techniques, where you kind of calm yourself down. So you learn how to calm yourself down. Choose coping mechanisms that don't create more problems for you. So when we are hit by this negative thinking, many of us have coping mechanisms like drinking, like smoking something, like doing some other things like being in some sexual spaces, or going for what we call buying therapy, purchase therapy, or shopping therapy. And some of us, there are many things that we use to cope with the situation. So I want to encourage you to think about coping mechanisms that add value to you, not those that take away value to you. And in future sessions, I'll be talking about how to develop self-soothing techniques, so that you are not always being driven by the emotions that you feel and by the negative thinking. So number 3, I would like to encourage you to use your spiritual resources. Many of us, we are either in the church, or we have a sort of faith that gives us hope, that helps us know that we can bounce back. That's what we call resilience. So I want to encourage us to also work on building our spiritual base, and whether it is prayer, whether it is reading scriptures, whether it is also listening to podcasts where you are being encouraged and you are being reminded that you are a person of worth, or you are being given tips on how to manage things. It's very, very important to do that. There is also the prayer that I love. It's the prayer of serenity. It says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. How do you use the serenity prayer? I suggest that you take a piece of paper and you write on one end, you say things I can change versus things I cannot change. And then you focus on the things that you can change and work on that, because then you will be able to manage your emotions. You will be able to manage the negative thinking. Now, I also want to say that other things that you can do when you are triggered to think negatively about things, learn to be grateful. Use gratitude and ask yourself, is there something about this person, about this situation that I could be thankful for? And write that. And write that down against the things that you are experiencing as negative. Once you do that, you will find that your mind begins to move away from always predicting the worst case scenario, and from always feeling like I can't do anything about it, or that I'm not competent, I'm stuck, I will never be happy. You will find that as you look for the positive in the issues you are going through and in the people that you are in relationship with, you will find that your heart will be much more at peace, and your mind will not be as racing as it does. So until I see you next time, I hope that this information triggers you to even research more. If you have any questions, drop them on the comment boxes. I'll be glad to reach out to you. I'll be glad to help you as you walk your journey. You can tell us even what you have been doing and how you are managing your own negative thinking and what has helped you. And subscribe if you haven't, and share with your friends. And thank you so very much for being a part of my team. God bless you. Until next time.